Very good evening to all of you. Am I clearly audible? Please mention in the chat window if I'm audible to all of you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Siddharth. Am I audible to all others as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Suraj. All right, so to begin with, what we are going to discuss today is how can you manage the quant challenges. Of course, quant is a very important section, and why very important is because it is very scoring section as well. So if you know the concepts in the quant section, then obviously the chances of the answer being wrong just because of some conceptual error is very, very low. So this is one particular section which you can definitely make it as a strength area for yourself. The only thing is that, yeah, of course, that also has its own challenges. So how to overcome them, how to be very comfortable with this section so that you can score well. So the point is, when it comes to this section, first of all, what you need to understand is the entire quant section nowadays in CAT is majorly based on the concepts. It's not based on things like calculations or just knowing some shortcuts and things like that. That's not going to be enough. So what you really need to focus on is that you need to understand the various concepts which are there. And why am I insisting so much on concepts is because the concepts are very, very basic, something that you would have done way back in school. But when it comes to solving questions on those concepts, what they basically check is how are you applying those concepts. So are you able to understand the basic fundamental which is there behind that concept or not? If you are able to apply it, then of course your answer will be correct. Otherwise, the most probable error making answer will always be there in the options so that you end up marking it. So the point is, the best thing to understand in quant questions is there is a correct answer and there is always one very probable wrong answer. The point is whether you mark the probable wrong answer or the correct one. Of course, everyone would want that you end up marking the correct option, but for that, you need to understand few concepts. So that's what we present to you in the material that we share with you. And when we give you that study plan, then all these things are embedded in it, in which you can actually get to know that where and how you can make a mistake. So when you attempt questions and you find a particular mistake, don't just be happy with finding the right answer and then that's done. Always ask yourself, always cross question yourself that why the answer went wrong. Okay, what was the conceptual error that you had in your mind? And then register the concept. There's no point registering the questions. It is never going to happen. The point is you need to register the concept that you got rectified through that question, right? Is this much clear, everyone? So keep responding in the chat, or you can unmute yourself so that I get to know whether you are on track. I can move ahead, or someone wants a clarity. So keep responding either through chat or you can always speak up. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So let's see how to apply all this that I was discussing with you. Unless you solve some questions, you will not get to know what am I talking about. What is that thing which I was discussing with you, that there is always going to be one probable wrong answer and there is always going to be one actual correct answer. So how to choose between them, and that you can only understand if you start solving some questions with me today. So what I've decided is I have picked up very simple, very basic questions, not very difficult ones. So just to start with, and when you're solving these questions, please answer in the chat. Only then I will get to know that you are solving it the right way or there is a conceptual error that you are making. So let's begin with the questions. So the concept is this on which the question is going to be based. The concept is, we know what categories of numbers we have around us. We have natural numbers, which are like counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Whole numbers include 0 also. So whole numbers have 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Integers have 0, positives, negatives, everything is there, but the fractional numbers are not there. Okay, rationals include all the fractional numbers also, and integers, whole, natural, everything is there under rationals as well. But yes, the important thing is what is extra that is there in rational numbers is all the fractional numbers. Irrationals are those which are either squares, roots of numbers which are not perfect squares, like under root 2, pi, e. These are common examples of irrational numbers. But to be very precise in giving the definition, irrational numbers are those which cannot be represented in the form of p by q. They don't have a fractional representation. So this everyone knows, I'm sure. What are natural numbers? What are whole numbers? What are integers? Now, the question that I'm going to present to you is based on this very basic concept that you do way back in school when you start talking about numbers. First of all, anyone has a problem with this concept? If not, then I will proceed to the question. Okay, let's proceed with the question then. This question, the hint I have already given you, this question is based on the concept which I presented to you in the previous screen. Everyone give your answer. Okay, so Hafif has given the answer as 25. Okay. So one answer that I've got is 25. Any other answer? Okay, Monisha's answer is 100. Anyone else? Okay, Siddharth's answer is 156. That's it? Chirag, what's your answer? Juhi, Khushi, Rohit, Darshit, Amit, Anand. What are your answers? Okay, so these are the answers that you all have given, right? And as I was telling you, there is one very probable wrong answer and there is one correct answer. The one very probable wrong answer, you all can see in the chat itself. Very probable means maximum number of people will answer that. You can see maximum number of people have answered 156. 3 people have answered 156. This is the most probable wrong answer. It's wrong. These are anyways wrong. Okay, but the point is you might not even find this in option, but 156 will surely be there in the option because this is one answer which everyone thinks of, but it is the wrong answer. Okay, Siddharth has given another one, 625 divided by 4. No, that's also not correct. Let's see what is the correct answer. Anyone else wants to give the answer? I would really like if the answer comes from you guys, but otherwise, yes, definitely I'll answer it. No, Anand, that's not correct. Okay, let's see. What went wrong? The knowledge on which this question is based, no, Monisha, that is not correct. The knowledge on which this question is based is just this knowledge. Okay, very good. Someone has given the correct answer. Finally. Yes, Teja, very good. Your answer is correct. So, Raghav, very good. The answer is correct. So, I think you got the hint now. The point is, the logic on which this question is based is, we have a lot of numbers around us, a lot of numbers around us. Was this question specifying on which number are they talking about? No, they did not. The sum of two numbers is 25. Which number? Is it natural number? Is it integer? Is it fractional number? Is it rational? Is it irrational? They did not mention it, which means I'm free to take any kind of number. First thing to notice in the question is this. Whenever you attempt a question based on numbers, your first focus should be on the fact that have they specified the type of number? If yes, you can only use that type. If no, then any kind of number is allowed to be used. Now, the question's language was sum of two numbers is 25. So let's call those numbers as x and y. Their sum is 25. What is their maximum possible product? We are interested in finding this product to be maximum possible. What does that mean? When is product of two numbers maximum? When they both are maximum. What does that mean? I can have both to be maximum, but their sum is fixed. What does it mean? Tell me. When can you make two numbers maximum possible, but their sum is already fixed?
When
Yes,
both
Siddharth?
are equal.
Very good. So just equally distribute this 25 in two equal parts. So when I distribute 25 in two equal parts, they are 12.5 and 12.5 each. Remember, decimal is allowed because I'm allowed to use any kind of number. All right. So both the numbers are 12.5 and 12.5 each. That is the maximum value both can take. So what is their product? It's product of 12.5 into 12.5, which is 156.25. So that is the correct answer. And I will also tell you why did I say that 156 is the most probable wrong answer. You are also supposed to know what can go wrong. That's also very important learning. As I said, don't just focus on the right solution. You should also focus on what mistake can I do in this question. Unless you do that learning, you will never complete your learning process. So first of all, tell me, is everyone clear with this solution?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
now why people make a mistake of answering it as 156? What is the mistake that people do? They think that I cannot use decimals. They think that the question is talking about natural numbers. They are assuming it, even though it is not mentioned in the question. So instead of making a equal breakup, they end up doing it as 12 and 13. And when they take the numbers as 12 and 13, the product comes out to be 156, which is the wrong answer. So what is the mistake? The most probable mistake is making an assumption that the question is talking about natural numbers, though it is not. So why do you assume that it is talking about natural numbers? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this calculation also has a shortcut. I would like to share that shortcut also with you. So when you decided that the sum of the two numbers is 25, so for the product to be maximum, I want the numbers to be equally split. So the numbers are 12.5 each. Then I said their product is 12.5 multiplied with 12.5. This calculation has a very simple shortcut which comes from Vedic math. Vedic math provides us a lot of calculation shortcuts. It says that if you are squaring a number which is ending in 5, so this is also squaring of a number ending in 5. I can take care of the decimal later. What it says is that I'm writing the shortcut on the left side. That shortcut says, suppose I'm squaring 35. So 5 will be written as 25 and 3 will be multiplied with the next number in the counting. That is 3 will be multiplied with 4 to give me 12. And that is the square of 35. So to square any number ending in 5, what you do is 5 will be written as 25 and the remaining number is multiplied with the next number that we can call as a successor of 3. So similarly, if I apply the logic on 125 and I'm squaring it, so 5 will become 25 and 12 into 13 is 156. But there was a decimal also. So the answer is 156.25. So there is also a calculation shortcut that you can apply here from Vedic math. Any doubts with this question or should we proceed ahead? Do not hesitate to ask your doubt if you have.
No, ma'am.
All right, great. So the learning, remember the learning of the question. A picture kept in your mind always is going to help you a lot. The learning from this question is you have a categories of numbers. If the question mentions natural numbers, then you're only supposed to use natural numbers. If it says whole numbers, you're only supposed to use whole numbers. But if it says numbers, then all of them are allowed. You can use any category of number. So why restrict yourself from using decimals? So that's the learning we take from this question. Now, a question based on money math, that is the commercial math, that is how we deal in day-to-day life with money. Try this question. Any answers? Okay. So
13.
Suraj has given the answer as 13. Anyone else has the same answer? Okay, so very good, Suraj. Your answer is correct. It is 13. Let's see what is the point behind solving this question. The basic concept is that you can make this question as complicated as you want, but you can make it as simple also as you want. So obviously, you will prefer to make it simple. Question said MKLNJ bought a motorbike for rupees 60, or you can say $60, as the question is mentioning here. So M plus K plus L plus J, if I'm calling their contributions as M, K, L, and J, it is summing up to $60. The question said that M paid half of the amount paid by other boys. Now, this other boy is the main point. You can say that the other boys are K plus L plus J, but that's going to be a very complicated form of the equation, having four variables together again. Why can't I write others can also mean 60 minus M? The other perception of others means what? Apart from you, except you. So, other than M can also be perceived in a better way by saying that from the total, getting away with M, subtracting M, right? So, that's a better way of noting down the equation. Why is it a better way? Because from this equation, I'm directly able to find the value of M. How? Twice of M plus M. So it will become thrice of M is equal to 60, which tells me that M is equal to 20. And notice what happened so that you understand how can you actually generalize this situation. I don't have to write this equation again and again for other guys now. I know what is going to happen. The pattern is to be followed. For M, it was half of the others. For the next person, it is one third of the others. Okay, so notice that. So when it was half, it became 60 upon 3. And the pattern is going to be followed like that. For K, it is one third. So what is going to happen? 60 upon 4. For L, it is one fourth. So what is going to happen? It will be 60 upon 5. So there is no need to write the equation again and again. You know what is going to happen. For K, it will be a 1 by 3 here. This 3 will go there and this 1 will get added, making it 4, of course. So I know it in a very quick way that these answers will come out to be 15 and 12. Now, I know the value of M, K, L, and I'm supposed to find the value of J. Is it difficult? Of course not. J is going to be 60 subtracted with the sum of M, K, and L. What is that? 20 plus 15 plus 12. What does it come out to be? It comes out to be 13. Clear, everyone? Okay, so the point is you could have handled this question in a very quick way if you are focusing on the fact that others can be understood in two ways. I can say other boys means 60 minus K plus L plus J to be noted here, but that's a very complicated way. Why can't I say that? Sorry, I can note it down as K plus L plus J, but that's a complicated way. Why can't I note it down as 60 minus M? That's a better way. Everyone clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move ahead. So always focus on the simple logic. The learning that you take from here is when you are making equations, try to make the most simplest equation, not the most complicated one. And what is the simple concept behind making a simple equation is have least number of variables. If you're involving too many variables in one equation, you are definitely not on the right path. So that's the learning you take away from this question. Let's move ahead. Yes, everyone give it a try. Any answers? Okay, so Teja's answer is 241.5. All right. Any other answer? Okay, so that's not the correct answer. I hope you have understood the language of the question. The question's language is find the sum of all the odd numbers between 20 and 200, excluding those which are multiples of 12. So I have to start counting all the odd numbers between this range. That is numbers like 21, 23, 25, and so on. And of course, the last one will be 199. You're supposed to add all of them. And if there is any multiple of 12 in this, you need to subtract it. That's the logic of the question. Okay, so Siddharth has given another answer, 8280. So Siddharth, that's also wrong. Now, this question is based on a very famous shortcut. That's the third learning which I'm going to give you here. So the first question that we took up had a learning that don't make any assumptions. If the question is not talking about natural numbers, why are you talking about natural numbers? Second question had a learning that keep the equations as simple as possible. This third question which I'm taking up has a concept that if you know certain shortcuts, your life becomes very simple. So this one is based on a shortcut. The shortcut is, I will make you realize the shortcut yourself. So Shiva, that is also not a correct answer. Suppose you add the first two odd numbers that you have. So I hope you all understand what are odd numbers. So what are the first two odd numbers when you consider natural numbers? 1 and 3. Can you tell me what is the sum of 1 and 3? Of course, it is 4. Take up the first three odd numbers. That is 1 plus 3 plus 5. What do you get the answer as? Keep answering it. You will
9.
yourself realize a pattern. Okay, very good, 9. So next is, suppose I include 1, 3, 5, and 7. What's the sum now? 15. 16, yeah. So what is the pattern that you're observing, right? So the pattern that you're observing is what? I need to know the pattern from you guys. Have you realized what is a pattern that is being followed in the answers? Okay, let's take another one. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. What do you see now?
25.
25. Are you able to realize a pattern? What's happening? This one is square of 2. This one is square of 3. This one is square of 4. This one is square of 5, right? What is the square of number that is appearing here is how many odd numbers are you taking? When you're taking 5 odd numbers, it is coming out to be 5 square. When you are taking 4 odd numbers, it comes out to be 4 square. When you take 3 odd numbers, it comes out to be 3 square. When you take 2 odd numbers, it comes out to be 2 square. So the pattern is, when you add odd numbers starting from 1, 3, 5, and so on, it doesn't matter where you stop. It matters is how many such numbers have you added. So if the how many is say n, then the answer for this sum will be n square. Okay, that's the shortcut that you need to know. So first of all, are you clear with the shortcut? So even now you guys are not giving the correct answer after me having told the shortcut. So just wait for the correct answer now. Is the shortcut clear, everyone?
Yes.
So yes, Shiva, finally, you have given the correct answer. Very good. So now come back to the question. This shortcut is to be applied to your question. Your question says that you are adding all the odd numbers between 20 and 200. Now the point is, I know that my shortcut is applicable if I start adding from 1 onwards. But here the problem is I have to add from 21 and onwards. But I can always handle it. From 1 to 200, if I take, right? So from 1 to 200, how many odd numbers will be there? You will be taking 1, then you'll be taking 3, then you'll be taking 5, and the last one will be 199. Do I really need to bother about this? Of course not. From a list of 1 to 200, I know that half of them are even, half of them are odd. So if I ask you that, I'm only interested in the count of odd numbers and even numbers. So I know there will be 100 odd numbers and 100 even numbers. So what will be the sum of all the odd numbers that is being followed in the list? It will be 100 square. 1 to 20. How many odd numbers will come? So between 1 to 20, of course, I know that there will be 10 odd numbers and 10 even numbers. So what will be the sum of those 10 odd numbers? It will be 10 square. Is the concept now clear in front of you? Because I can see two people giving the correct answer. What needs to be done? My question says I'm interested in finding odd numbers sum from 20 to 200. So from 1 to 200, I have the answer. From 1 to 20, I have the answer. Of course, if I subtract them, I get to know what is the sum of odd numbers from 20 to 200. So it's like this. I know the answer from 1 to 200. I know the answer from 1 to 20. I'm interested in this answer. So of course, from this complete answer, I'm supposed to subtract this. All right. So what does that come out to be? 100 square minus 10 square. That is coming out to be 9,900. And the logic is you are not supposed to bother about this part of the question. Can anyone tell me why? This part of the question is completely redundant. The answer has already been achieved. There is nothing to be subtracted. Why? Yes. Yes.
And because the multiples are 12 are even.
Very good. Because excluding means what? You will exclude something only if it is there in your consideration. It's not even there. You have added odd numbers. Will any odd number be a multiple of 12? Of course not. So when a multiple of 12 is not even being taken by you, how will you exclude it? It's just given to confuse you. There is nothing to be excluded. The answer is this number itself. Is it clear, everyone? So this question is a combination of knowing a shortcut and also understanding the fact that a multiple of 12 will never be an odd number. So there is nothing to be excluded. Give me a yes or no, because everyone gave the wrong answer to this question,
Yes, ma'am.
apart from Shiva and Suraj. Chirag, it's clear to you now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move ahead then. So shortcuts are very important to learn. That's the third learning. So after every question, I'm giving you a learning. Keep that in mind, because that's what I suggested in the beginning, that whenever you're solving questions, make it a habit of noting down the learnings in your mind. Okay, so the learning from this question is knowing shortcuts is very, very important. Let's move ahead. Yes, Tanya? Okay, Raghav says the answer is 30. Anyone else has a different answer? Okay, Siddharth's answer is 15. Amit, Juhi, Chirag, Kapil, Darshit, Rohit. Any answers from you guys? Okay, Suraj's answer is also 13. 15. Okay. All right, very good. So most of you are giving the right answer as 15. Some of you have given the wrong answer, doesn't matter. But yes, majority of you are giving the correct answer. That's very good. So let's see the perception of this question and what is the learning from this question. The learning from this category of question is whenever it deals with some purchasing, buying something, the price has gone up, you went to the market, always try to visualize yourself in this situation. Trust me, this tip will work very well for you. So imagine that you went for shopping. There was an increase in 30% in the price of apples. Okay. And because of that, because you were not aware that there is an increase of 30% in the price of apples today. You went with the same money that you always carry, that is rupees 300. But then the shopkeeper told you that because there is an increase in price today, you will get 6 kilograms less. Isn't that what the situation is telling you? So the situation looks like whenever you carry rupees 300 with you, you were able to buy some apples. But today, when you went, there was an increase in the price, but you were not carrying that money with you. Because of that, he told you to take away 6 kilograms less today. The crux of the question is that you were supposed to carry some extra money. Can you tell me what was that extra money that you were supposed to carry? If you wanted to buy the same quantity of apples, there was some extra money that you were supposed to carry. Yes, Siddharth?
6 kg, ma'am.
No. I'm talking about the extra money that you should have carried that day if you were aware of the increase in the price. What is that money?
That
90 rupees.
30%.
Very good. Correct. Yes, Siddharth. So 30% has increased. So you were supposed to carry 30% of 300 extra. 300 you anyways carry. Today you were supposed to carry 30% of 300 more with you. That is 90 rupees. But you were not carrying it. So how did the situation get balanced? The shopkeeper balances this situation for you. Okay, fine. You don't have 90 rupees today. Doesn't matter. So you don't take 6 kilogram apples today. What does that mean? The current cost of 6 kilograms of apples is 90 rupees. That's it. So this is what the language is telling you to directly come to. So this is how you should be able to perceive the question. I was supposed to carry 30% of 300 extra with me. That is 90 rupees. I was supposed to carry extra, but I was not carrying it. So the shopkeeper told me that you will have to leave 6 kilograms apples today. What does that mean? The cost of 6 kilograms is equivalent to 90 rupees. So what is the cost of 1 kilogram? 90 divided by 6. That's what the question is asking. So the new price of the apples is 90 divided by 6.
By
That
6.
is 15 rupees per kg.
Yes.
Is that clear, everyone? Okay, first of all, a lot of people get confused as if it is asking for what is the increase in the price. That is not the language. What is the increased price? Increased price means what is the new price. If they want to ask you that how much has the price gone up, then they will use the language what is the increase in the price. There's a lot of difference between the two sentences. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So suppose, is everyone clear with the answer or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, suppose I give you a situation to focus on this part, which is very important. Suppose you had scored 70 marks, but you were not happy with your marks and you were very sure that you should get more marks. So you applied for revaluation. So in revaluation, you finally got 80 marks. Now, there are two things that I can ask you. What is the increase in your marks? What is the increase in your marks? And I can ask you that, what is the increased marks? There is a huge difference between the two. What is the increase in your marks?
10 marks.
10 marks. What is the increased
80.
marks? 80. Okay, so be very sure about that you're marking the right option, because I've already told you, CAT knows that where can a student go wrong, and that wrong option will definitely be there so that you end up marking it. So you have to be very careful about reading the language, understanding it properly. So coming back to the question, the learning from this question is whenever you are dealing with questions of financial transactions and all, always visualize yourself in that situation. You will understand it really much better. Okay, let's move ahead. So this is what the question was. The balancing was the apples that you were supposed to take away less that day balanced the money that you were supposed to carry that day. So visualization is very important because pictures get registered in your mind. Okay, so come back to this question now. Everyone give it a try. It's a very, very simple question. Okay, so Siddharth has answered it as 11025. Amit's answer is 3675. Sarthak, any answer from you? Thank you so much, Sarthak. Khushi, what is your answer? Chirag, Dashrit, Meghna. Abhi Kumar, Sarthak, any answers? Okay, let's see. This question is again based on a very, very simple logic that you do again in very junior classes called as fractions. Before I move to the next screen, which has a kind of a learning for you in the question itself, I want to ask you that when you talk about percentages, what is the total that you talk about? You talk about 100%. Similarly, when you talk about fractions, what is the total that you have? You have 1. Okay. So when I say that you have had 1 complete pizza, so it's like a 1. If I say that you have had half of the pizza, so that is represented as 1/2. Okay. But half of what? Half of 1 full pizza. If I say that you have had 1/3 of the pizza, so it's 1/3 of the full. So full in a fraction is always called as 1. Now, coming to this part, if I say that you had 1 full pizza with you, but you have already eaten 1/3 of it. You have already eaten 1/3 of it. How much is still left with you? How much is still left with you? So complete is 1, right? So 1 minus 1/3 gives me 2/3. But this is actually shown to junior kids like this. They are always introduced with something which is called as a fraction wall. And this is how it is depicted for them, that this is that 1 bar of chocolate that you have. Now, this bar of chocolate is being distributed into 2 equal halves. So if you end up eating 1/2 of your chocolate, you are still left with this 1/2. If you end up eating this 1/3 of your chocolate, then you are left with 2/3. If you end up eating, say, 2/4 of your chocolate, you still have 2/4 left with you. Okay, so the process is like that. Something you have consumed, but something is still left with you. This is how a junior kid is introduced with fractions. Now, putting this knowledge back into our question. Your question looked like something which I was telling about fractions. You can always note it down as a shortcut, though I'm sure most of you would already be aware of it. Total is always 1 in fraction. That is what I was telling you guys, right? So if you have already eaten, say, 1/3, then how much is left is 2/3. Do you notice something here? The denominator never changes. And the numerators are such that their sum is equal to the denominator. What I mean here is, suppose the total is 1. You have already eaten, say, 5/7 of it. Then how much is still left with you? It will be 2/7. So denominator never changes and the numerators have to add up to the denominator. Applying this logic in our question. A spends 6/7 of his income on food. 4/5 of the remaining. This is very, very important. That means how much I have spent is already gone out of my pocket. I'm not even bothered about it. What I'm bothered about is how much is still left with me. So what's the shortcut of the question? 6/7 of his income he has already spent on food. Forget about it. How much is left with him? 1/7 of the income is still left with him. Now this leftover is not the complete leftover because he again make an expenditure. 4/5 of this remaining he spends on clothes. Now what he has spent is already gone. Forget about it. How much is still left is 1/5 of this. Now this is the final leftover after spending on clothes. But he again makes an expenditure. He spends 2/3 of this remaining on the education. 2/3 has been spent. Forget about it. How much is left is 1/3 of this. And this is the final leftover that he has. And the final leftover is given to you in the question as 105 rupees. What does that mean? This income which I'm looking for is going to be 105 multiplied with 3 into 5 into 7. But the interesting thing is 3 into 5 into 7 is again 105. And we already did this shortcut that Vedic math gives us. How do you calculate square of a number ending in 5? 5 becomes 25 and this 10 will get multiplied with 11 to give you 11025. So this is the answer, which was given correctly by Siddharth and Teja. Yeah, 2 people gave the correct answer for this. Are the rest of you clear with the correct answer now? Suraj, Amit, are you clear with the correct answers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
now the shortcut that you will now remember, obviously this involved a lot of explanation. What's the shortcut that you will remember? If the question is using a language like of the remaining again and again, what does it mean? I'm not interested in these fractions actually. I'm interested in the leftover fraction. So for 6 by 7, I will quickly note 1 by 7. For 4 by 5, I will quickly note 1 by 5. For 2 by 3, I will quickly note 1 by 3. Of the income is equal to the leftover which is given to you in the question. So income comes out to be 105 multiplied with 105, which has a shortcut that it is going to be this. And that's how you quickly end up having the answer. So remember the learning. The learning is whenever the question is focusing on leftover, you also focus on the leftover. And how do you focus on the leftover? Not with the given fraction, but its corresponding leftover. So for 6 by 7, it is 1 by 7. For 4 by 5, it is 1 by 5. For 2 by 3, it is 1 by 3. Anyone has a doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's move ahead. So this is the learning and the visualization that was there in this question. Now, if you want, I'll come back to this point later and we can do a few more questions, or otherwise some of you were curious to know about what exactly you will be offered with, and then we can start doing questions again. So first of all, what is it that you will have if you take up this course is 135 plus national mocks, and I will explain each one of them, don't worry. 135 plus full length and sectional topic wise test, 250 plus videos, 10,000 practice questions, and AI based test analytics. Now, actually speaking, what is the advantage of each one of them? You need to understand, because if you end up taking it, you should also know how to utilize them. Okay, so I'll come to that part, Siddharth, in the next slide. Let's first understand, if you end up taking it, then how will you utilize each one of them? First of all, mocks is very important. Why? Because when you are taking mocks, you actually get to know that what needs to be studied. This is one exam where you don't study first and then take a mock. It's actually vice versa. When you take up a mock exam, you actually get to know that what are my weak areas, what do I really need to work on, so that I read up some material on it. There is some basic concept which is missing as a knowledge in that area. So you start brushing up that area. Then again, take the next mock and see if there is an improvement or not. Okay, does there need to be another attention topic or not? So mocks actually end up guiding you in 2 ways. It guides you what to study, and it also guides you that I will be able to identify that there are some areas which are like beyond my scope. Okay, this is one topic which I'm not able to improve at all. So you will never ever touch that topic when you're taking CAT, because trust me, you will never be able to attempt all the questions. You will have to be pick and choosy in the questions that you are attempting there. So why waste your time on an area which is completely your weakness? Which I'm not saying that you leave a weakness as a weakness. You will definitely work on it. But if you think that your strength area lies in some other area, of course, you will first give that a preference to attempt in CAT. And of course, your weak area can always be attempted later. So it gives you 2 kinds of guidance: what to study, how to study, and it also tells you that what will I do on the test taking day? Which questions will I do first and which questions will I keep pending for later? Okay, come down to this now. Full length test and sectional topic wise test. See, full length tests are as important as mocks, but this is going to give you an in-depth knowledge of a particular topic, because when you are taking a mock, You come up with a weakness, but there is a rectification needed for that weakness. So how do you do that? You study the concept based on that topic. Then you take a sectional or topic wise test, which makes you understand that, have I understood the kind of questions which will come from this topic? If no, then go back and study again. Okay. So there is some concept still missing. Or maybe through the answers of that test itself, you will get to know that, okay, this is the probable solution. This is what I was doing wrong. So they are important as the first ladder to make an improvement in marks. Okay. Now, coming down to videos. Why videos are important, I think I have already emphasized on this fact that I gave you 4-5 questions. Every one was from a different category. First question was based on a very basic concept of what are numbers. Second question was based on very basic concept of, say, how do you utilize questions based on, say, money math. Okay, so you visualize yourself, fraction wall. So videos actually help you in understanding a concept and the way that concept will be utilized in solving questions. It will also give you shortcuts. Like one question was based on a shortcut. So how do you get to know these shortcuts? So these videos help you in understanding what type of shortcuts you need to be aware of. Okay, so I gave you just one shortcut in today's class, but there are too many shortcuts that you still need to learn. Practice questions, of course, you all know why they are important, because as I was telling you in today's class, when you are practicing questions, you actually get to know that, okay, this is one probable mistake which I can do, which I have to avoid. And this is the right way of solving it, which I will learn. And the learning that you take from every question, which I was trying to visualize in the form of a picture after every question. So practice questions, of course, are very important because they make you understand that what are the probable questions that can come in CAT, and the practice questions that will be provided to you, they will be very, very close to the actual CAT level questions. Okay. So by very close, I mean that some of them would be of higher level, some of them would be of the exact level, some of them would be a beginning question. So obviously you have to gradually climb the ladder. So these practice questions help you understand the actual question that you're going to face in the exam. And this is also obviously very, very important. When you are taking test, you need to analyze it. Why analysis is so important? Because whenever you will be taking marks, keep this learning forever. Whenever you will be taking marks on any test, you will come across 3 categories of questions. One category of question will be which went correct for you. Good enough. It's always your strength area. So it's a happy zone. But suppose the answer went wrong for you. You read the explanation and then you understood it. Good enough. Third category is the most dangerous category. Third category is it went wrong for you, but even after reading the explanation, you could not understand it. This area is an alert area. You need to do some conceptual reading in this area, which means it needs an in-depth knowledge starting from the scratch. So this kind of analysis helps you in understanding, again, going back to what do I study, how do I study. When you are preparing for something, you should at least know what to study. So all these put together make your journey of preparing for the exam much easier, much systematic, much smoother also. Okay, so that's the advantage and how to utilize each one of these resources, because if you are taking them, you should also be able to utilize them properly. So let's move to that page where Siddharth was asking about the cost. So this is the page which talks about the cost. So the actual price of the course is 9,999, but because you have attended this demo session, so using this coupon code CAT'21, you can avail the course at 5,999, which is the discounted price. If you still have some queries to be answered, you can definitely make a call at this number and ask about whatever details you still want to find out. And I'm sharing a URL with you guys, a link with you guys in the chat. You all can go through this link. This will help you understand that what all will be offered to you, how will the things go, what are the resources, what are the materials available to you. So all that you will be able to see for yourself in this chat. Okay, so you have been shared with a link in the chat. Can you all see it? No, not at all. So it's a complete package. It's just that we talked about quant today, but obviously it will, the test includes quant, DI, and verbal. So all 3 are there, of course, right? So it's not just that we are making you prepare for quant only, not like that. Okay. Any doubts that you guys have? about the course, or so it's a test prep course, right, Suraj? Okay, Suraj, so it's a study plan course, right, that you have. So if you're interested in attending the online classes and also, that's a different batch altogether. So you can definitely make a call at this number and you can find out about that also. Okay, Suraj? Right. Should I move to questions again now? Do you have any queries related to what you will be having in the course, or should I move
Ma'am,
to? Yes,
ma'am,
Siddharth. Yes, Siddharth.
during the course, will there be live lectures as you have taken
Yeah, so
today?
you're asking the same question as Suraj was asking. So we have another course in which there are live classes also. So if you're interested in that, that's a different thing altogether. So the pricing is also different for it. Okay, so this one is without the online classes. If you're interested in online classes also, that's a different course altogether. Okay, but that can also be made available to you. So for that, you will have to make a query. Okay, Siddharth?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Anyone else has a doubt? So when you take up the online classes course, in that you will have 3 online classes in a week, which will include all the 3 domains. So one class on, I'll come to that part, Teja. So one class on quant, one class on verbal, one class on DI. So that's how you cover up the course. So, and you can always have the recordings of the lectures so that you can quickly catch up, and you can actually have the recording with you for throughout your preparation journey, so that you can see that as many times as you want. So yes, it contains recorded videos. I already mentioned it. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the questions now. Okay. But I still suggest, if you have still some queries in your mind, definitely go through the link which I shared with you guys in the chat. You will have a better clarity of what is it all about. And if you still have any slightest of doubt, you can always make a call, or you can always write a mail on the help desk. Okay. So there will always be someone to support you with your queries. Yes, let's solve this question now. Okay, so Siddharth says 14% profit. Okay. Afif says no, it's 20% profit. Anyone else has a different answer? Khushi, Amit, Chirag, Juhi, anyone has a different answer? Now, as I said, in all these money transaction questions, I gave you one tip. That tip was, you should always solve these questions by putting yourself into picture. Okay, so try to imagine that you are the one who is doing all this. So you are the shopkeeper. What are you doing? A shopkeeper claims that he sells his goods at a loss of 8%. You're pretending, okay? You're pretending that you're selling your goods at a loss of 8%. But what actually you're doing is, you're using a wrong weight. So you're cheating the customer by using a wrong weight, 800 grams for 1 kilogram. What does that mean? It means that it will be reflecting 1 kilogram, but it is actually only 800 grams that you are giving to the customer. Now understand this as a situation in terms of money. So none of you have given the correct answer till now. So let's see what is the right perception of this question. So the right perception of this question lies in the fact that this is in measurements. I need to convert it in terms of money. So to do that, let's say the cost of 1 gram is 1 rupee. Okay, so I'm just assuming it to make the calculations look very simple. So let's say the cost of 1 gram is 1 rupee. Now, what happens? What is the money that is going away is your cost price. So the money that you're investing in the good, the product that you're selling, is your cost price as a shopkeeper, and what you're receiving from the customer is the selling price. Is everyone clear with this part? So I'm making you imagine yourself as the shopkeeper. So your cost price is what is going away from your shop. How much is going away from your shop? 800 grams. So this is 800 rupees. What is it that you're receiving from the customer? The poor customer thinks that he has received 1 kilogram. That means 1000 grams. So he's supposed to pay you 1000 rupees. But then you play smart with him. You say that, okay, I'm able to bear a loss of 8%. So it's like you're putting up saying that you can take a discount of 8%. So since you are making the customer feel happy by giving him a discount of 8%, so you end up telling him, okay, pay me only 92% of this. So what is 92% of 1000? 920 rupees. Okay, now you have a very simple calculation left for you.
Profit
Cost
120
price is 800, selling price is 920. The difference is your profit, and profit percentage is always calculated on the cost price. Don't ever forget that. So very good, Teja, you gave the correct answer. It is 15%. Is it clear to all others who gave the wrong answers like 20, 15, 20, 25, 12 and on? 15 is the right answer. So very good, Sarthak. You also gave the correct answer. So only Sarthak and Teja have given the correct answers. I hope it's clear to all others how to perceive such questions. Now come down to the shortcut. Shortcut is whenever the wrong weight is being used, 800 will be your cost price. And what you are pretending to the customer will be your selling price if this thing is missing in the question. But yes, if you are trying to make the customer feel happy by giving him a discount of 8%, then it further gets reduced. You will say it is 92% of 1000, so 920. Now you know the cost price, you know the selling price, so the profit is 120 rupees. But if you're interested in profit percentage, it's 120 on 800, which gives you 15% as the answer. So that's the quick logic that we have applied. Anyone has a doubt? Now, one thing which you need to be very, very careful about in this category of question is a perception that can go wrong. What is that? As a shopkeeper, as a layman, you will always think that a shopkeeper will always do a wrongdoing by pretending to the customer that, look, I'm giving you 1 kilogram, but in reality, he's giving only 800 grams. But I can always have reverse of the question, which might not happen in real life, but it could happen if the poor shopkeeper is not even aware of the fact that his balance has gone wrong. So don't assume anything. It could be a loss situation also. Something like if I give you a new question in which I say that the poor customer is not the poor customer here now. Now the shopkeeper is the poor guy. Why? Because he thinks that he's giving 1 kilogram, or maybe he thinks, okay, let me use the same language. He thinks that he's giving 1 kilogram, but his scale has gone faulty. Instead of 1 kilogram, the customer ends up receiving 1 kilogram and say 500 grams. So obviously he's going to make a loss now. Are you realizing the point? So don't always assume things that the shopkeeper is always going to make profit. No, it can go vice versa as well. Is that clear? In this case, this will be corresponding to the cost price and this will be corresponding to the selling price. Is everyone clear with my point? So if I say that the customer is supposed to get 800 grams, but because the poor shopkeeper does not even realize that he's using a wrong scale, he ends up giving him 1000 grams. What does that mean? His cost price is now 1000, whereas selling price is 800, where I'm not even using this part. I'm just focusing on this, but the wrong weight going against the shopkeeper. Is that clear, everyone? In this case, he will make a loss. He will make a loss of 200 rupees on 1000. So that's how his percentage will be calculated. Are you clear with this twist that can happen in the question? So Mehak, we were discussing about the live sessions. So if you're interested in joining the live sessions, you can always make a call at the number, which I'll just show you. So this is the learning and the picture. that I wanted to show you for the question, Mehak, then I'll go back to that page. So the learning and the picture that you need to keep in your mind so that the learning never goes away from your mind is this picture of using a wrong weight. Are you still clear or not? Because I have not got a go ahead from you guys that a wrong balance can always, majority of the times it will work in favor of shopkeeper, but don't assume it. It can also be against the shopkeeper. Are you clear with that part or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So I'm going back to that page because someone has requested. So this is that page. Okay. So Mehak, you can see this and you can make a call at this number to find out about the live classes. And this is what we were discussing about the course that you have available to you right now. This is just a prep course. So if you are interested in finding about the live classes, you can definitely make a call at this number. All right. Anyone else has any doubts? So thank you, Siddharth. Thank you, Sarthak. You both were really interactive during the session. You all were answering well. Thank you, Suraj. Thank you, Teja. Thank you, Afif. So, and thanks to everyone else also if I've missed out any names. So good that you guys were participating. So that gives you a good direction of how much you know, how much have you learned, how much have you taken away from the session, what your preparation journey should be. You get a lot of answers in your mind and you get a lot of clarity in your mind only if you're participating. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thanks very much.
Ma'am?
And yes, Siddharth.
Ma'am, can we have one demo for verbal section so that we should be satisfied?
Sure, Siddharth. I'll put it forward. I will definitely put it forward, your request for a verbal demo session. Definitely, I'll do that, Siddharth. Anything else? Okay, thank you, Suraj. Thank you, Chirag. Thank you, Juhi. Thank you, Sarthak. Thank you, Sarthak, so much for your appreciation. Thanks a lot. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. All the very best for your future. Thank you, Afif.